Ironically, tonight I'm doing a review where I'm going to talk about how good the sound is in the movie. And I can't find my microphone. So, there you go. Furiosa! Good evening, it's Adam here again with another quick instant movie review for you. So tonight I caught Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. This is the prequel to the 2015 film Mad Max Fury Road and the fifth in the Mad Max saga. Well, what's this one all about? Well, this tells the story of young Furiosa, played by Alayla Brown. She is a young girl who is living in a beautiful, beautiful oasis, whilst the rest of the world is living in this terrible wasteland. She is caught by a warlord whose name is Dementus, played by Chris Hemsworth, looking amazing. Dementus has an evil plan. He wants to take hold of most of the wasteland and obviously wants to find this beautiful oasis, which he is absolute hell-bent on doing. And along the way, he tries to conquer the Citadel, which is presided over by Immortan Joe, this time round played by Lockie Hume. So the two go head-to-head to try and get this dominance over the land, while Furiosa herself tries to carve out her own niche in this and tries to find her way home. As I mentioned, this once again is directed by George Miller. The cinematography this time round is by Simon Duggan, who worked with Baz Luhrmann on The Great Gatsby. Same writer in place. Junkie XL once again does the score. You've got the same editors. Look, everything is in place here. Except, of course, we have a new Furiosa in Alayla Brown and obviously later on with Anya Taylor-Joy. Now, what can you really say about this film? Well, it goes for 2.5 hours. It's a big ask and it's a massive film. If you haven't seen any of the other Mad Max films, maybe do a little bit of research beforehand, and acknowledge the fact that George Miller likes to make films that are silent films with sound. In saying that, he doesn't believe that his films need to be bogged down with dialogue. In fact, he believes that dialogue actually slows his films down. So as a result, we have a pumping soundtrack thanks to Junkie XL. We have some amazing sound editing, and I would like to credit everyone in the sound department for this because the Foley is amazing. The sound mixing is amazing. The rumble of this amazing chorus of these motorcycles and machines is absolutely phenomenal. You really have to see this film in the biggest screen possible with the best sound possible. There's no point in seeing it in a little small cinema with tiny little speakers because you need to feel this visceral approach that this film gives you. It kind of just rumbles your heart and your whole body as these motorcycles rev up. The opening sequence of this is absolutely heart-pumping. And the interesting thing about this film, and it was sort of a bit of a criticism of Mad Max Fury Road, if you can indeed find a criticism of that film, which I thought was amazing, is that this film does take its time. Yes, 2.5 hours is something that takes time. But we have a little bit of time to sort of establish character a little bit more, which is really, really good. And then the film builds momentum and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. So there's moments where we can breathe, unlike what we had with Fury Road. So the interesting thing with this, though, is we really do discover little bits and pieces of Furiosa, but not as much as I thought we might. The film seems more interested in building the mythology of the landscape and kind of how these people all fit together in some weird way. You know, a little bit of Dementus's backstory, a little bit of Furiosa's backstory. You know, there is some fantastic characterization in this film. There's no war boy that really made an impression as much as Nicholas Hoult did in the first Mad Max film, but you know, Tom Burke is in this, you know, as a mentor for Furiosa. He is really, really great, actually, in his part. And Anya Taylor-Joy, basically, in her role, has about 30 lines. her character is sort of sworn to silence almost because she doesn't want to give up the secret of where she comes from, which Dementus is trying to get out of her so heavily. She also doesn't want to say anything because otherwise she'll be found out as a girl later on in the piece. And then finally she doesn't really say anything because I think that she's just had it. And she believes that being stoic and being silent will make her somehow more terrifying and more of a threat. So it's a very interesting one, and I think Anya Taylor-Joy said that this was a little bit like the most singular and separated film experience she's ever had, quite an isolating experience. And I believe it probably would. She's also never driven a car before, and she had to do some driving in this, and she did a great job. The other interesting thing I'd say about this, and I guess it's something that needed to happen, is the first Mad Max Fury Road film was fought with absolute disaster. The location in Australia was washed out, so they had to go elsewhere overseas, pull the entire production over. Everyone was tired, everyone was cranky, everyone hated each other, but they did get it shot, and it looked amazing, and it was an amazing film. So there's a lot there behind the scenes on that one, and some amazing stunt work, which is testament to the film as the end result. This time around, you can really see that George Miller's tried to make it a little bit more of an easier approach to filmmaking in this one. A lot heavier use of CGI, and I don't know if the film's any better for it. I kind of feel like that real visceral approach that was present in the first film is kind of lacking a little bit in this one, to be honest with you. I loved Anya Taylor-Joy's performance. Actually, I thought both the actresses who played Furiosa did a phenomenal job. Layla Brown did a phenomenal job in this as well. Everyone is great. Chris Hemsworth is he is there for chuckles. He is absolutely relishing this opportunity to play a bad guy, and he is having a great time doing it. Prosthetic nose and all, which I thought was a little bit distracting. But he has this wonderful little lisp about him that really makes his character seem so absurd, almost like a psychopath absurd. And he really is having a great time with it. It's a really great characterization. Everyone in this film really puts in a lot of work. So the only thing I would probably say is that I found it did drag, and I would have liked more of Furiosa, which sounds ridiculous, but I would have liked a little bit more of her true backstory. And I know that Anya Taylor-Joy does do a lot of that through the eyes, and I know Dementus is the person who has the lines, unlike Furiosa. But I kind of would have liked just a teeny little bit more of her. There will be a sequel. It will be great, no doubt about it. And I'm really interested to see what George Miller does next, being the fifth film in the Mad Max series, and really hitting its stride with the fourth film. I mean, this is the fifth film in a series that really just established Mel Gibson as an actor, and sort of drove out some such original storytelling and world building. Yeah, this is like watching a Looney Tunes cartoon in real time with a lot more blood and gore and violence and some inspired set pieces. I mean, really great. So hats off to everyone involved. Well done, George Miller, on making some great Australian content with some amazing international actors and Australian actors as part of it. And I am just thrilled to see what's going to happen next. So Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, I would probably give 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really great film. A little bit too long, sounded phenomenal, great acting, and yeah, hyper real, amazing. That's my review of of Furiosa, Mad Max Saga. What's your favourite Mad Max film? Are you a Thunderdome kind of person? Do you like a bit of the old Tina Turner? Maybe you like the big hair of the 80s. Or are you more of a road warrior? Mad Max 2 is always cited as being probably one of the best Mad Max films. Or are you original? Do you love the original? Comment below, let me know. Also, maybe you just like Fury Road. Anyway, let me know, and I'll catch you all next time here in my car with all my arms. There they are.